Hi guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel. Today we've got Angelo in the chair. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, how you doing?
I'm alright. So what are we doing today? What's the plan?
I've been growing out my hair for quite a while and I don't think I've really got anywhere with it.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to get something a bit shorter. Keep ideally as much reasonable length on the top.
Okay.
But yeah, like kind of short on the sides and trying to keep some length. I've got pictures because I'm not very
show us them, yeah.
I work as a trainee solicitor, so a skin fade is what I usually used to get, but obviously now I kind of don't go for that as much. But something like this, or like something I can as well, like kind of style casually. Like this. So
of course,
two styles in one.
Okay, that's cool, yeah. I mean, so the classic sort of finish, would that be for like work? Would it be a bit like sort of putting apart and whatever? Yeah. All right, cool. That's ideal, yeah. I mean, the only question I will ask though, before we do anything like that is, you've been growing it, hasn't worked. Have you been growing it into like the centre part? Is that what you were trying to do?
No, I was trying to like grow it into kind of this picture here, like kind of that's what I was trying to go for, but my hair's like quite wavy, and what happens is it just kind of frizzes and kind of starts sticking out, and I don't think I put in enough time, or I don't have the knowledge of the products that I should be using and whatnot to kind of do that properly.
To be honest, your hair texture is very different to that as well. Yeah. That guy's is a lot straighter, so that's why it holds its shape better. I think what you're choosing though is better because it seems like it works for both your job and outside. Yeah. So I would probably do that first and enjoy the haircut, you'll get used to your hair. Yeah. And then if you decide to grow it, at least you'll have a bit more knowledge of your own hair as well. All right, cool, man. Are you sort of, have you got any specific length that you want to go to on the top? Because obviously at the moment we've got two different haircuts. We've got a very short back and sides, as you can see, and then we've got a very long top. So how much length do you actually want to lose? Because we're going to have to, if we're going for something classic, we're going to have connection. We can't have the undercut that you've got now. Because it doesn't work. It'll just stay looking the same. And then if you want to part it and have like a sort of flexibility to it, it's got to connect because it can go both ways then. Do you want to take quite a lot off the top to balance? Would you be happy to lose whatever needs to come off? To balance into the sides? All right, cool. All right, well, we can just wait that out as we get into the haircut. But back in size, then, how short do you actually want to go?
2 or 3.
So before scalp exposure, or do you want to see some scalp exposure?
Probably not. But I have seen you sometimes. I've seen some videos where you do like a kind of taper. Yeah. Which I was thinking might work here
really
as
well
well
for you.
So yeah, that's something that.
All right, cool. Well, the reason that'll work well for you is because your neckline. Yeah, it's very sparse and it grows into the middle. Have a little look at that, Liam. So as you can see, that could be quite a challenging neckline if you were leaving length in it, because as you can see, the difference of the sparseness, the thickness in the middle. So doing something like a taper on that it is the best way to finish your neckline off. Yeah, 2 into it. You could do do you want to do a 2.5?
Yeah.
Use your 3 into a 2.
I'm not good with the numbers, so I'm letting you take control.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm very happy with you kind of using your knowledge to do what you want. So like, feel free to like, if you see something different, spice it up. I'm happy with that.
Oh, you shouldn't say that. You know, if I'm feeling like I'm doing the shaved head, mate, you shouldn't say that, man. No, I'm only joking. That's cool. No, that's good. I will just do whatever needs to do to balance. All right, but also trying to keep in line with the flexibility, pliability of different looks for like different occasions, but also being able to part it.
Lovely.
But we'll get into that as we describe the haircut in a bit. All right, cool, man. Well, I'm gonna give this shampoo and condition to start with. A bit of a blank canvas then, and then we'll get started. All right, man. We've just shampooed and conditioned Angelo's hair. Now, this is where I can really see the sort of previous cut that you've been having with the kind of centre part you've been growing out. You can see it's obviously longer through here, short at the back. So what we need to do, we need to start with the balance of this. So we've just been discussing, Angelo said that I seemed a bit shocked when he said number 2. And I kind of was, I don't know if anyone else was watching, but I thought that was like instantly going in really short. But because we are changing it, based on the description of the photos, I'm not too concerned that he said he doesn't know the guard numbers. He's not too sure on the guard numbers, but that's fine. But based on the pictures you're showing me, it's about that, maybe a bit shorter than the pictures, I guess. But I was just saying then, I think maybe if we started with a 3, then at least then we can go shorter if we need to. That's probably the best advice I would give. But if you're used to skin fades, a 2's long, you know what I mean, to most people. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But I'm going to put it in a horseshoe first. This is just going to help me separate the top to the back and sides, so I can start to build the shape on the back and sides as well. Because we still want to leave length on the top. We want it to be balanced into the back and sides, but also give Angelo some versatility. We need him to be able to wear it casual on the weekends, wear it smart for work, or whatever his dress sense is on that day. he can adapt it to the hairstyle as well. So I think this kind of look, you know, the way we'd wear it today would be the casual. It wouldn't be the smart. But then if you're, like you said, trainee lawyer, suit, I would imagine, in the week. I would always guess a suit, or at least something smarter, and then obviously we can go for, you know, the part and then dead easy. But I can show you that with water. You know what I mean? That's the parting's dead easy. I'm probably going to clip over comb most of this hair off first before we put the guard in. So I'll do it when it's towel dried, and then I'll be dry it off and put the guard on, and then we can see it what the true length would be then as well. I just want to check your face shape. I need to see where that blend needs to start, because again we're looking for connection now, so we're looking for blend. Now as you can see, I think you've got a very oval face shape. I think you can see that by the shape, so we want to try and work it to balance in where the jawline comes in. So that's the angle we're coming at. So again, we're coming quite far off on the top. Does look odd when you see it like that, but when it's cut it doesn't at all. All right,
that's good to know, because I always like when people say, oh, you need to know what your head shape is. I never knew what mine was. So
I'm just going to start by removing the bulk. Clipper over comb, it's always a good way of doing it. It's a very fast, efficient way of doing what we need. It allows us to see the full back and sides. And I don't need to worry about the bottom because I'm going to be tapering that anyway. Using the guide from the right hand side. Using the guide from the left hand side now. So we started at the back again, and we're moving from the right to the left, and what we're seeing is the guide coming through the left hand side of the comb. Okay, so you'll see it now when we get to this corner here. If you lift it up, there's the guide, there's the hair that comes through. Okay, do it again, slide in, lift up, angle towards me, there's my guide. Now you can start from the guide and go this way, or you can do it from the other way as well, whatever you prefer. Doesn't make the slightest bit of difference, whatever is more comfortable to you. Okay, and then I just follow that all the way down, and then as we get to the bottom, no point in cutting that because that's going to be getting shaved. Now one little cross check, just working from the bottom up, just to make sure that's right. There we go. Now, you definitely want to go shorter than what we've got now?
Yeah.
Right. Cool. All right. So just a double check before we carried on with clipper work. I thought we'd just double check. All right. Blast it off like that. Okay. So I'm going to start with a 3 first. Okay. Just because if we're not too sure exactly how short a 2 is, let's start on the higher guard. All right. 3 guard on. Leave it down to a 3.5. I'm just going to start here and work up and off, like so. And when we're working like this in this angle, working it up and off and pulling away and maintaining the length here to blend into this bit. So there's my 3.5. Now I'm going to move on to the 3 and take this from the nape all the way up just before the 3.5. Like so. Working around to the left hand side. Now before I carry on, I'm going to ask Angelo what that length looks like for him. So what are you thinking? So there is a 3, okay? Do you want to go shorter than that? Or
I think 3 is where probably I'd like to keep it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then the rest will taper in and yeah, awesome. The good thing about that is that the taper will be more pronounced because there's more darkness of the hairstyle. All right. That wasn't planned, by the way. That was genuinely what we were having a conversation at the backwash, and he wasn't too sure on the guards. So that's why we say start a bit higher, because a 2, on some people, a 2 can look quite short. On myself and probably on Angelo, a 2 looks kind of, you know, you don't really see too much scalp exposure. But if you've say got blonde hair or something like that, or lighter coloured hair, you'll find it could look like a 1.5, for example. But because he likes the number 3, I'm going to spend my time making sure the 3 is the majority length to the back, and then we'll work on the taper as well. I'm going to connect in the blend first, and then we'll work on the detailing of the around the ears, the sideburn, everything else. But I want to get the shape cut in first before we start tapering it, and just work down and just blend that little tiny section into the 3.5. And now I'm just basically connecting in the 3.5 to the previous clipper over comb guide that we put in at the very start. So are you sort of kind of airing away from skin fades now then? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the reason?
I think with work, I think a skin fade is quite a sporty look.
Yeah.
And yeah, with like work, I just don't think I could rock the skin fade.
Yeah.
Anymore. I mean, I probably will. I do love the skin fade, but as well as the maintenance, you know, it's every 2 weeks realistically if you want to keep that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, the
sharpness and the freshness. Yeah,
exactly.
100%. Yeah, definitely. A lot of guys are going for slightly longer finishes, whether that be, like you said, like a 3 instead of a skin fade. Even that to some people, I'm sure there's someone with a skin fade watching right now who, when it gets to a 3, that's like a month in, and they would not wait that long to get to a 3 if they got a skin fade, right? Yes. So if you think of it, that's how long it would be a month after growing, after having a skin fade, that would be about a number 3, right? Maybe not necessarily on the top, maybe the top's still the same kind of style, but yeah, the skin fade, I mean, it'll always be around, but I'm definitely starting to see the skin fade kind of, I wouldn't say losing its edge, but definitely...
the skin fade fading away. If you
I like that, I like that. Is the skin fade fade like that? That's definitely been used. GQ have well used that at some point, right? I'm going to start on my 1.5 of the taper, and as you can see from the side, we're looking at the angle now. I want to take that nice and tight in, because we've got that shape here, and we'll bring that really tight. 1.5 on first, wake it up and off, and we'll wake it up to about here, okay? Using the angle of the head, and then also the flicking motion. And then I will turn it around. Now instantly you can see how much better the neckline's looking shorter. So onto the 1, a little bit lower now. For symmetry, I'm going to put the 0 line in, okay? So I'm starting in the middle. I want to taper this up because as you can see, the neckline comes quite low. So don't go too high. I want to take it to about here, because then that way I can get a perfect line, because there's a bit of weakness there as well. So up to the weakest point, put a line in, like so. Onto my 0.5, so leave it down, up and off. Dropping it a little bit lower, so not working too high, just working up and off. I'm just using the head shape to help me on the angle of the blade as well. And work that down. Just way through the lever into the 0.25. Now, also Angelo, with the sideburns, what do you want to do with them?
I don't know. You tell me. I think, yeah, go. Okay. You're happy to do with whatever you feel is the right thing to do. I
think I wouldn't do a taper on the sideburns because that'll change the whole look.
Yeah.
Okay. I would keep like darkness. I'll probably maybe go to like probably like a 1.5 in length on the sideburns. Okay. Keep some shape in there, because when you've got such a prominent cheekbone, if you take the sideburn too short, it brings the cheekbone out.
Right.
Just by having some sort of shadow on the sideburns really starts to bring out the angle of the face on the bottom here. So I would just taper that in a little bit, but not as tight as the neckline.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, awesome. I'm just using my size 5 comb. That goes to like a 1.5 if it's pushed against. Rested, just a regular pressure is a 2. It's versatility. If I give it too sharp a hairline around the temple, it'll change that overall look, I feel. So I'm just going to do something that just makes it look tidy, but I'm not going to start arching in and giving away too much detail on there. It's just something that looks nice and natural. Pulling the ear down, using the corner of the clipper to create my line, and then create the arch around. Start to taper this in now, working down, try and keep it as wide as possible. Just working the trimmer over the comb, again pushing hard, then kind of taking away and easing with the pressure. I'll take it up to a 3. Another trimmer over the comb, just to taper that. Blend that taper up into the 3. And just stripping away the line down the bottom. Back and side's complete. Now, onto the top. So we're looking for uniform, versatility, and the ability to be able to put it into a side part. Very classic haircut with a twist. So what I'm gonna do, classic traditional cutting for the primary shape, and then more advanced creative cutting for the secondary shape, okay? All that is nice sort of shape, cutting in length, you pick the length you like.
Yeah.
The next thing we do is I add the texture. Which side do you prefer to wear your actual part in? Now, everyone's got a side, but which side do you prefer?
I usually go from, recently I've been going from left to right.
Okay, so left to right for you, yeah, that works. I think if you look at the way the fringe falls, it does sit both ways. So I think we can keep the length. I think your partner actually wants to come from the right to the left, because that's where your crown is.
Okay.
It seems to want to fall easier that way, but you can do both. So
the only reason I've been going left to right is because I feel like I can get a slightly more of a wave usually, but if the parting's here, then I remember when I did used to have a skin fade or parting before, I would usually go from right to left.
Right to left, yeah. It's just where you always tend to come from the crown.
Yeah.
But you know, you do get height when you go against it. So I want to, you know, like that, like what I've just done then, purely by accident, is like the picture you've just showed me.
Yeah.
So if we can try and create that same kind of shape. So again, I'm not going to cut it into a parting. I'm just going to cut it into uniform.
Yeah.
So you can wear it any way you want. Start by cutting it, taking the length off through the top. And we're going to connect this in on a vertical section, not a horizontal section. Lengthwise on top, how much do you want to lose?
So like when you did that thing there, so ideally a length that would still allow that to happen.
Still allow that to happen, okay. So we do, let that fall.
Yeah.
I think if we cut it to the eyebrows, so that about that length there, that would still fall nicely for you. We can get away with taking off that much length. Best way to do it. Is that all right, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Now I'm going to point cut into this. So that way you get a nice, more natural finish. Straight up. Just working across the top. Like so. Just using the guide from the front and then from the right hand side. I'll bring this all the way back. We've got a lovely connection point that we can keep nice and square. Like so. There we go. There's a guide. And there's a guide. And then we just cut that too. So I'm still following the same angle as the clipper work. Okay. So I'm going to keep a slight corner in this. So sections are roughly about maybe 2 fingers in width, because we're obviously not losing loads of length. If we were going like say really short, you'd be doing like maybe 1 finger width sections. Again, the smaller the section, the more hair removal. And you see the crown still sitting really nicely. It's not sticking up. We also need to connect this in as well. And that's the angle we cut it at, right there. And because this is primary shape on the side, on the sides here, I'm using club cutting technique, so flat cutting. This is me creating the shape on the sides. So now we've still got a nice bit of length at the front. We've got connection. We can whip it into a nice parting. We can pull it back. We can wear it messy. You know, that's just the one side done. Right? Obviously this side hasn't been cut yet, but you can still see the difference when you look straight on the mirror. There's all the length you had when you came in. There's the connected bit that you can still create something, and you can see that shape is still sitting in nicely. Yeah. There's the guide on the left-hand side, and there's the length I take off to match. And I'm just working all the way back. There we go. So we still want to leave some length in the top. We need this fringe to be able to be manipulated and moved around. So I'm going to take the fringe to probably just below the eyebrows. I think that's a good length, okay? I'll just point cut into that as well. Secondary shape now, so this is where the texture comes in. So root lift, some collapse, a lot of point cutting through the blend, so we've got a nice softness to it. I'm going to start with bringing it from the left hand side right through the middle, and this is where I'm going to add my root lift. This is going to thin it out, help it move. I'm not going too short because we still want classic parting, so if I went too short it would stick up. halfway up to my fingers. So we're not going too short. So as you can see, them bits that we're taking off, it's still going to fall and lie flat. What you get is you get lift in the hair. Having more lift in the hair is better than having more collapse, I feel, especially when you've got hair as thick as Angelo's. You want it to be able to move about. I'm also thinning the hair out nicely as well. A bit higher up towards the ends. This is where the parting will sit. So again, we're not taking it too short. Halfway up to my fingers, like so. Now, I'm going to blast this off. Bit of salt spray. Using the Balmain salt spray for this one. So, for you now, high speed, high heat. Just blast your hair from front to back, okay? Bring it all back, okay? You see where the fringe wants to form. You bring it across, you get height. You bring it from the natural way, you get collapse. So, there is the hair nice and dried. Now all I'm going to do with this now is I'm going to point cut into the blend to give a nice, more natural finish. And then I might just check out the crown, see if anything needs to come off there, maybe thin bits out that need thinning out. So I pull this up, there's no connection. And this is the bit I want to point cut into. So this is going to give a slightly softer connection as it falls down like that. Thin out these corners, but again I'm only going to my finger, so I'm not going too short. Yeah, a nice softness. As that comes back, it flows around, you get a lovely bit of flow. So that's how you create a nice flow. And go to my finger. Let's put it into a classic way first, okay? Because today, I think you should wear it in a more natural way.
Yeah.
Now, you can tell me otherwise. If you want to wear it more classic, that's cool. I think with what you're wearing, though, it's probably better to have more lived in.
Yeah,
as I always call it.
you.
Would you agree on that one? Yeah. Put a bit of salt spray in there just for the bulkiness and the kind of the dryness that we're trying to achieve. Got a little gloss as well. Now, starting from the front, I'm going to work this through the hair, okay? It's really flexible, okay? So the first bit is you apply the product. So application of the product, right? That's what we do first. Now, wide tooth comb. Let's get the classic finish in there today. So let's come from crown. So we'll find the crown at the back left here. We put our line in, down to the recession point. Yours comes down at an angle. We part this over. Now this becomes your classic work. I mean, give or take, you can go a bit lower down if you want on the parting, but this is kind of where it wants to fall, I think, at its best, right? You bring that back. Now, there is a classic side part, right? That we haven't cut into one direction. We haven't cut it into one particular shape. I've just cut it completely uniform on the top, and there is that finish. So very natural, slightly combed over so you can see it. So there is a classic side part. So to the side, you'll be able to see that, right?
Yeah.
Dead easy.
Yeah, that's what I like it usually.
Super easy, right? I haven't cut it into a parting, remember? I've just combed it into one, but because it's uniform, it looks lovely from every angle. That's your work attire. Now, today's attire, okay? Same product, don't need to change it around. This is the beauty of using one good product. You just do this. We go for that more lived in look, as we say. So we use our fingers now to break this up. You're just allowing your natural wave to come out. You're allowing your natural shape to fall, but you're still getting two different haircuts, and that way you can just kind of let it, if you want that to fall, it can. Yeah, it's one of those haircuts as well that the longer it gets, the more it will fall into what you want it to be as well. So you're not limited for like 3 weeks. You know, you get a good few weeks out of this.
Very
Tapers
nice.
into the neckline, as you can see, not too low, but you get that nice taper. You get a lovely shape sitting through it, and everything's kind of cut in.
Perfect.
And blended in nicely for you.
Very nice.
Yeah?
Perfect.
I think that suits you a lot, you know.
Yeah.
I think it suits you better than the centre part.
Yeah, I love what you've done there.
Yeah, it looks really nice. Thank you, man.